Howdy, I'm Ben Solak, week 8's in the books. Welcome to the play sheet. The opening script, Will Levis the GOAT, baby. It's been a great year for rookie quarterbacks. We've had week 1 starters in CJ Stroud, Bryce Young. We've done videos on both of those guys. We would have done a video on Anthony Richardson too, because he was sick, but then he got injured and we couldn't do it. We've seen Dorian Thompson-Robinson play. We've seen Aiden O'Connell play. And now we have finally the 4th of the 4 quarterbacks that were big names entering the pre-draft process, Will Levis. And what did they do? Levis threw for 4 touchdowns in his first career start. He is only the 2nd quarterback in league history to do so, joining, weirdly enough, Titans rookie quarterback Marcus Mariota. This, by the way, is why using touchdowns to measure performance is not good. Touchdowns are like island events, right? They're very noisy. A guy gets tackled at the 1 and it's not a touchdown. A defensive back falls over and it is a touchdown. You can't just be like, all right, touchdowns equal good, guy played well, as tempting as that is to do with Levis right now. There was, however, good stuff on Levis's film, and that's what I want to talk about today. The stuff that should get Titans fans excited about the potential of this guy being the quarterback of the future. I mean, they scored 28 points, and the Titans hadn't done that since 2021, so something here worked, and to find out what worked, we're going to play action. The number one thing that Will Levis showed in this win against the Falcons was his arm talent, and he has just oodles. He has just heaps of arm talent. And this was something that we talked about in our pre-draft scouting video on Will Levis that we did for the play sheet. Roll the clip. Levis is an easy and explosive thrower of the football. And if you've been watching all of our episodes on the quarterbacks from earlier this week, and you're like, Ben, this is the 4th time in 4 episodes that you've said Levis is a good thrower of the football. Yeah, it's just a talented quarterback class. I don't know what you want from me. Levis could chuck the pill. Levis can get great distance on downfield throws, but perhaps more impressively and importantly is the velocity he gets, especially when throwing to intermediate windows. He can do it off play action, which is important because he runs a lot of play action, and from weird platforms with pressure on the ground in front of him. He's got a laser beam, and that allows him to get some real nice tight window throws. Now, in that video, we were talking a lot about intermediate throws, window throws, velocity. This game against the Falcons, there was some velocity stuff, but it was way more about the moon ball. Okay, this is touchdown number 1. You know how usually I start by drawing the play design, what's the route concept? They have DeAndre Hopkins who's running very far down the field, and then they have Treylon Burks running across her. This is the whole concept, right? They're in max protect. Everybody is staying in. This is play action, land on your back foot, and very simply you're making a choice here, or you're taking this one-on-one to the outside, which if the Falcons were in a different coverage and they were getting a deep middle safety, you could say, okay, he's running here, so Jesse Bates takes him. Richie Grant gets deep. Richie Grant's not going to get to this throw from being outside of the hash. That doesn't even matter. If they were initially in some sort of single high look and you're worried about this safety's leaking this way, maybe you have to take this route. But in general, the Falcons are telling you right now, we are going to let AJ Terrell play one-on-one with DeAndre Hopkins. We like this matchup. And so Will Levis says, okay, well, I also like this matchup because DeAndre Hopkins is very good. And so he's just going to launch this thing. The pump fake down here does absolutely nothing. This is high-key performative. I don't know what this is doing. But he just sends it. This is explicitly offensive pass interference. And the throw, you want this throw to get out here. You want it to get to the actual hashes on the sideline, because when you leave it hanging inside, if Terrell doesn't get yanked by Hopkins, it's going to be easy for Terrell to play on that ball because he has inside leverage on Hopkins. So it's not a perfect throw, but it's a freaking launch. It's a trebuchet shot. He's on the 45-yard line. 50 yards in the air, dude. And so, okay, Hopkins finds the ball early and he whips Terrell around and he catches it and it's a touchdown. And so, have we learned anything tremendous about Will Levis of processing, placement, leverage? No, it's a very simple read, and it's not even that accurate of a throw, but he threw the ball very, very far. This is touchdown number 2, and this is less arm strength far, more arm strength speed. It's still not a challenging throw, and it's still not a challenging read, but it's more just normal football, and it's nice to see. This is more so the stuff we were talking about in the scouting video. They're running drive, right? Everybody knows drive. Your mama knows drive. We're going to run this in cut here, and then behind it, we're going to come in with a shallow cross. So we just got a high-low right here, right? And what Levis is going to do, which he did all the time over the Ole Miss film, this is classic stuff. He's going to look front and side, right? He's going to look to this play side, look at the safety, give a little shoulder pump, and then just immediately reset his hallway and throw this. And the main thing with the throw is the velocity. Watch how fast this ball is. Boop. And it'd be nice to hit Hopkins on the face mask here. We go end zone view. He doesn't actually hit Hopkins on the face mask, it's actually behind him, and Hopkins does what Hopkins does, which this is actually a challenging catch because your momentum's moving away from it. This is a good grab, but it's the right read from Levis, right? Running back steps through, pulls this linebacker. This safety is looking at the in cut here, so he's not gonna be able to get low on this. And you expect Hopkins to outrun the linebacker on this route. So put it on him and then have Hopkins make you right. Good football player, 6 points. Okay, touchdown 3. We're getting to the cool stuff. This is a design. I like this a lot from Tim Kelly, who's the OC for the Titans. We're in empty, all right? Empty on 2nd and 10. It is a shot play designed to DeAndre Hopkins, right? We are trying to give Levis simplified one read. Like, we know where we're going with the ball. We want to present this. Underneath route here, dig in behind it. That's what we're trying to show Richie Grant. That's the cheese. You notice we're like highlighting Richie Grant a lot in this game? Yeah, not the best Richie Grant game we've ever seen. So, all right, that's what we're showing, right? We're sitting down here to pull this linebacker down, and then we're going to throw this dig in behind it, right? And with the Tampa 2 linebacker opening facing this way, this route is going to be open. So, Richie, you got to go drive in on this sucker, right? We got him. Dig and go. Nope. And if you watch Richie Grant and then watch Jesse Bates. Watch the two, because they're both deep half safeties. They're getting shown different things. But watch how Bates is real good. Bates just keeps gaining depth, right? You know you have to be deeper than the deepest, right? You're playing cover 2 here. Grant gets got, right? He bites the cheese a little bit, and then Levis sends this thing. So it's not a contested window throw, but firstly, it hits Hopkins beautifully, right? I mean, he has to slow up a little bit, but in general, great throw. He catches this thing at like the 16. Levis is throwing this thing from his 31, and watch how easily he throws this ball. This time the pump fake actually does something. Like, it actually does help pull Grant a little bit. So we like the pump fake, and now this throw. Just one step. Just a small step, and just a little 3/4 release, and the thing sings for 50 yards. End zone view. I open up. We're looking at Bates. We get our eyes to Hopkins. Here comes the dig. Nope, there's a little shoulder pump, and then the ease of the throw. He doesn't try, dude. There's no effort in this at all. All of this brings us to TD4. Touchdown 4 is a freaking good play from Levis. This is a very, very, very challenging throw. We are going to run Nick Westbrook-Akina on what initially is going to look like go to the front pylon, like run a corner, run that deep corner, whatever. We're going to sit the wide receiver down here, and then we're going to cross with DeAndre Hopkins. That's what we're showing. In reality, Nick Westbrook-Akina is going to bend all the way back to this side, and this is, again, the route we want to hit. Tim Kelly, again, OC. This is a one-read throw. Like, it's not one read because there's, like, actually guys in the progression, but we are trying to explicitly open one dude. We're not just saying, like, okay, Levis, like, read up front side, backside. No, we're telling him, like, hey, we're trying to get the ball to this guy, right? Levis on the play-action fake is going to boot to his right. So he's going to be, when we run this, outside of the hash, almost halfway between the hash and the numbers. This route's going to break over here. So not only is he throwing this thing from like the 44-yard line, and look at the pressure in his lap, because you boot out there, right? When you boot, you know you're going to see pressure. He's throwing this all the way outside of the left numbers. And not only does he throw this, when you see this route, you expect this throw to take the route over here, right? You're going to pull him back down into the line of scrimmage because it's just too far to throw this thing upfield and take Westbrook-Akina into the end zone. Look at Westbrook-Akina adjust. He's to go deeper for this. When he breaks this route, he thinks it's going to come like on the 6-yard line. He's got to go get it in the end zone, man. That's a ludicrous throw. All right, play action fake. Eyes over here. Westbrook-Akina is just starting to break. 2 Falcons in your lap. Just step into the bucket and send it. Sweet Christmas. What's cool is I went to find similar plays where the quarterback boots out to the right and then throws this thing outside the numbers to the left that far down the field, and there's not a lot of them. Here's Justin Herbert, 2022. Ever heard of him? All right. Good football player. Big armed fella. Chiefs. Motion. He doesn't even get past the hash, right? And they're throwing this right here. He's got to send this thing from the 40. Herbert gets a little bit more vertical distance on it. Throws a freaking javelin, but still. Wow. Want to see Aaron Rodgers just like not hit this throw at all? Miss it, be short, throw an interception. This is what happens. Boot, gets outside the hash. Here comes that bender all the way back to the other pylon. And it's just way short and it's picked. Tough throw. Now, it's not that, okay, if you can throw this one route and score a touchdown on it, you're a good quarterback, right? Like Zach Wilson had that route. CJ Beathard threw it for the Jags one time. I don't know. Regardless, what it does show you is that the staff understands that if Levis is going to be successful, he's going to be successful launching the thing. And that is both correct and also like a good sign for Levis because, hey, like explosive plays matter. This is really valuable. What these downfield shots do is they allow Levis to still have positive throwing days while the snap-to-snap consistency isn't necessarily there for him and also just for the Titans offense as a whole, where besides Hopkins, they don't have a ton of great receivers and offensive line-wise, they're in a really rough spot. In this game against the Falcons, Levis averaged 0.13 EPA per dropback. That's above average. It's a positive day. Average is 0.0. His success rate was 31%. League average is 44%. So on average, Levis had fewer successful plays, fewer plays with positive EPA than the average quarterback. But the plays that he did have that were positive were so overwhelmingly positive because he's launching 50-yard touchdown passes to DeAndre Hopkins. And that's the world you have to live in when you have an imperfect rookie quarterback. You have to live on those dice rolls, live on those big plays, and Levis is capable of making them. Is this sustainable? Probably not. 3 of Levis's 4 touchdowns, the really far ones down the field, those were top 10 longest by air yards, according to Next Gen Stats, of touchdowns at all this season. Like, you're not going to do that every week. You're going to get offensive pass interference flags. You're not going to connect on those deep shots, and you're not going to have as good of offensive performances. We can't hold Levis to the bar of just being like the best deep shot merchant in the league. That's not fair to the guy. What we can talk about is what he fundamentally is in structure right now, which is a rookie, but a rookie who has some building blocks. Take, for example, this play. It was quarter 1 against the Falcons. This is before we knew he was going to throw 4 touchdowns, right? And this is like a classic rookie situation. We have this deep over, and then I think Hopkins is going to run like a curl, or it might potentially be a dig. Maybe it depends on coverage. We don't end up knowing because Hopkins ends up kind of falling over on the route. So there's our play action fake. We get to the top. There's Hopkins falling over. Okay, so whatever that's going to be, I'm not sure. What matters is this. If you have this deep over, and the deep middle safety's in this body position right now with his hips facing this way, we are throwing this route. We are throwing this route every single day until the cows come home. Levis knows this. He threw it at Kentucky. It's a critical route for the Titans offense. This ball should be coming out now. Now. This ball's got to be getting out, right? Like the head is turning. This ball, because it's far down the field, this ball should already be on its way because there is no way when you're watching this, there is no way the safety is impacting this route. You know he's not. So this ball's got to come out. We end up being a little bit late on this. And because we're late, we let pressure start to come into our laps. And then, like, you know, kind of compounding the sin here, if you're going to be late on it and pressure is going to come, reset your feet. Get your feet over here. Let the pressure pass you by and then drive this thing. But instead, Levis tries to throw it with pressure in his lap, which this was a criticism of his coming out. Look at this throwing base right here. Look at how wide these feet are. This looks like Carson Wentz. Not good. So these feet get wide, and then we throw this thing without a ton of mustard on it, without the velocity we need to get it there on time. It still has the distance, and ludicrously somehow could have still been completed. So we see this and we say, okay, arm strength, like great, this is the sort of stuff we've been talking about, the velocity. But there's stuff to clean up mechanically and process-wise here that's going to make this throw a lot easier. End zone view, it looks like he thinks he wants to go to Hopkins. It looks like he thinks he wants to get to the dig, right? So play action fake. All right, we're looking middle of the field. We see Richie Grant getting on that over route. And then right there, see, it looks like he goes to reset the Hopkins, sees that Hopkins is falling. He's not in the route. Oh no, here's pressure. Let me just throw this thing late. Which again, the fact that this ball gets there is nuts from an arm strength perspective. From an arm talent perspective, that's bananas. But we should never get to a spot where we decide we want to try to go find that dig from Hopkins. This all the way should be Burks on this over. And we're late to it because we decided to go to that second route. We let pressure get into our lap when we should probably try to reset our feet. We heave this thing late and still almost somehow completed, but Richie Grant gets back in the play. This is the sort of thing where you watch and you say, okay, arm strength good, but we're not just watching like a DeAndre Hopkins double move now where it's like, all right, there's the open receiver, launch that sucker. Now we're seeing, okay, how can processing and speed in the pocket affect the throws that we can make? This is where Levis can improve, hit these throws more consistently, and then also still be able to throw that double move to DeAndre Hopkins, make this Titans offense a little bit more reliable. So Levis's second start, because he's starting against the Steelers, Thursday Night Football, games tomorrow, can't wait. It's probably not going to be as good as his first. He had 7 incompletions and 4 touchdowns. That's not going to keep happening. We have to be able to temper our expectations for what was objectively a second-round rookie. He's going to be an imperfect player. And we see those imperfections. We see it on the lateness of the throws and on some of the decisions that he makes. However, we also see the physical talent that allows him to work it. We see the physical talent that allows him to get drafted and get away with some of that stuff. We see the physical talent that is worth investing in long-term for the Titans. The offensive line is going to present problems. The wide receiver room is going to present problems. But Tim Kelly, the offensive coordinator, he knows where Levis's bread is buttered. He understands how to make a player like this work. Levis knows where his bread is buttered. He knows what he needs to do to succeed. And the Titans offense is going to experience a boost just because of that, just because they have a quarterback who's willing to shoot far down the field to DeAndre Hopkins and let Hop make him right. So is this CJ Stroud film where like you're watching Stroud and you're like, holy smokes, this guy's incredible? No. But it's also not Bryce Young film where you have no idea what direction the offense is going. You have no idea how this player is going to succeed. It's somewhere in the middle. And the more film we get, the more we'll know about what Levis might be as a future starter in the league. And that'll do it for us here on the play sheet. Thank you to Will Levis for throwing the ball very far down the field to DeAndre Hopkins. Thank you to DeAndre Hopkins for running very far down the field and catching it. Thank you to Corey McConnell for producing the episode. Thank you to you for watching the episode. Wow. Go watch more of them and then subscribe and then keep watching them.